first presenter for today goes by the name Musa Jallow. Musa is an IT officer working with the Ministry of Agriculture. He's a motivated IT professional with BSc in computer science and extensive experience supporting agricultural data systems at the Ministry of Agriculture. Musa's educational background is a BSc in computer science, mathematics minor from the University of the Gambia. He also has a WIRE certificate from St. Peter's Technical Senior Secondary School and also a Gabesi certificate. His professional experience as an IT officer went further, with planning services unit of the Ministry of Agriculture from 2016 to date, whereby he maintained and managed IT systems for agricultural data planning, support statistical and GIS-based analysis to inform national agricultural strategies. He was also trained on drone mapping, GIS, and data processing techniques. Before working with the Ministry of Agriculture, Musa also worked as a teacher at St. Peter's Junior Secondary School as a mathematics teacher in digital elevation model using drones. He also has a certificate in GIS and remote sensing, a certificate in basic statistics, and a remote pilot certificate. And another important skills he has are leadership skills that are also with affiliations. He served as the deputy head boy of St. Peter's School, president, Islamic Club, peer health educator, and University of the Gambia Student Association tree planting and leadership camp. He was also a member of the UTG Information Technology Club. So to be precise, this is all I have for Musa. Thank you.
As he mentioned, my name is Musa Jallow. I'm here to present my project on this remote sensing training. So the main topic is geospatial tools for monitoring mangrove in the Gambia. The project by Mr. Jallow. So the first task was to give an overview of this country and the mangrove extent of this country from the year 2020. So looking at the map, we have the mangrove extent of the Gambia with a key that is indicating that is the legend, which is indicating 1,064 kilometers of coverage with mangroves. Then there is a space which is not covered with mangrove, that is equivalent to 132 kilometers square. So this map shows the mangrove extent of the Gambia in 2020. So the area that is habited by mangrove in the Gambia is 609 square kilometers, which represent a linear coverage of 88.9% of the 1,197 kilometers of the coastline. We also have a net change. We want to know the change between 96 and 2020. So from the study, it is revealed that the mangrove gains are more prominent in two areas. That is Kayaf Kang Kayaf in the lower river region, and then around Aljambdu in Nyomi, which is in the Northbank region. We also have a chart that is explaining the extent of mangrove and where there is an increase of 1.99 kilometers square between 96 and 2020. So there was a loss also that was registered, which is equivalent to 1.35 kilometers square in 2016. So we have identified hotspot areas also. The identified areas that are being affected by mangrove gains. One of them is in Batendai Yilitenda crossing point, where we have the bridge that is crossing from Jaras to Farafenye. So the other one is around Banjul, at the entrance of Banjul, where you have the Bond Road. So, from the Global Mangrove Watch platform, we observe that the main drivers of this change is erosion. So 76% which is caused by erosion. Then that one is followed by episodic disturbance, that is 2.8. Recent mangrove loss alerts also since 2020 are displayed. So we can see from here the erosion, 76% of those disturbances are caused by erosion, followed by episodic disturbance, which is where you have construction of houses and other construction caused by human. Then you also have 18% of non-productive conversions. Then you have settlement also, which is 1.8%. So we also talk about the carbon stock of the Gambia. How much can the mangroves that are within our country store in the form of carbon? So it is estimated that 58 megatons of carbon dioxide with 5 megatons of carbon dioxide are stored above. So the 58 is the total. Then you have a quantity that is stored above ground, and then the another one below ground. 53 is stored in the upper of 1 meter of the soil. So that is on the other level of the mangrove. So we now talk about the impacts of mangroves. Mangrove impact in carbon sequestration. Mangrove in the Gambia play a vital role in carbon sequestration, making them one of the country's most valuable ecosystem for climate mitigation and coastal resilience. So the mangrove impact in carbon sequestration for the Gambia context. So we want to talk about here the importance of these mangroves. One of them is high carbon storage. The mangroves can store a lot of carbon. It is even said that it can store carbon more than the other plants, up to 4 times more than the other plants. The soil can retain carbon for centuries due to slow decomposition. That is also revealed in this study. So blue carbon potential. The Gambia Mangrove Restoration Project are increasingly tied to the voluntary carbon market, allowing communities to benefit financially from carbon credits. There are some projects that are engaged in this carbon mangrove rehabilitation. I think the last time I heard there was one in Kiang where if you plant, they pay you as you plant the mangroves. So they were paying communities some money to plant mangroves, which was paying a lot of dividend. So we can also use the mangroves for climate change mitigation, because it can store carbon 4 times higher than the tropical forest. So the mangroves are a good mitigation for climate change. It is also used for the ecosystem, like a lot of living things are using the mangroves for their habitat. Biodiversity, fisheries, and coastal protection. We also use it for coastal protection against wind, erosion, and other things. So why are these mangroves important? They also protect us from the coastal exposure for livelihoods. Some people use the mangroves for roofing, for firewood. So we have a restoration potential. Okay. This is the mangrove biomass, which will show you the distribution of the mangroves in the country, where they are high, where they are low, and then which spot have the highest or the tallest mangroves. That is the same as the canopy distribution, it's talking about the height of the mangroves. So the restoration potential is score for the Gambia is 70. This is an indication of likely is for achieving successful restoration, not the extent of possible restoration. So we have mangrove lost and the restoration mangrove, restorable mangrove. So we are seeing here what is not restorable and what is restorable. So you can see a very small number is restorable, which is a warning. The fisheries pressure, from this chart we know that the chart is the map is indicating that the thicker color is where the more pressure is on the fisheries sector. So what is the physical process behind the optical remote sensing? So optical remote sensing hinges on the interaction between sunlight and the Earth's surface. The incident rays react directly on the Earth and then interact with various surfaces. Reflections are absorbed depending on the surface. Then the captured by sensors, optical sensors, are detected reflected radiation during the daytime under cloud and free conditions. These sensors measure visible near infrared. So this is trying to explain how the physical process of remote sensing happens. So that is the diagram. Like when the sun rays hit on the ground or on the objects, so the rays reflect. Some will reflect back to the atmosphere, and some are absorbed, depending on the objects that the sun is hitting on. So the reflected rays are censored by the satellites, which transmit those sensors, which we process to the information that we require. So the other one is why do we see plants as green? So this is the sunlight. When the sun hits on the plant, it reflects light. So the only light it reflects is the green. The one that the eye can see is the reflected green color. You cannot see the other one. So that is why we call it. That is why the eye is, because the eye is sensitive to that green color. That's what it can see. So the rest of the light is absorbed. So we use this NDVI formula to calculate or detect the health status of the vegetation, which can help us analyze how healthy the vegetation is. So the differences between optical and the radar, one of them is this one is reflected from the solar, and then the other one is reflected in the form of microwave signals. And this one can be observed during the day, while the other one is observed during the night. So thank you very much.